Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are looking at Still No Fucking Excuse by Bee's Knees Lacquer. This is a dark blue lion sibling with hollow flakes and red to orange to gold shimmer. When we do get to the first coat, you will see we are working with a very broken thumbnail. Once again, I'm doing my best to keep from flooding my cuticle line because I am working with a dark color. I am a bit shaky, and you can see how dark this is. The shimmer is mainly looking like a berry red here. I think it just has a touch of purple in it, and there are loads of hollow flakes. This is nearly opaque in one, but I don't have the coverage I want, so I will be going in for a second. So, I had been looking at the photos in the BKL archives for a while before buying this, and I kept wondering why I didn't purchase it. So when it was re-released for Black Friday, I decided to grab it. But I did not review any other material, and I think I should have, because I think I should have realized I gave it up intentionally the first time. It is way darker than I thought it was. I wore this with I Myself Am Strange and Unusual, and it was often like I was wearing the same polish on both hands. I did think this was a darker blue, but perhaps something more in line with a sapphire. But it's even darker than that. It's more like a midnight blue. So I think a lot of the photos on the site were taken with extremely strong lighting. I think I catfished myself with this one. That isn't to say that there's anything wrong with this polish, that it applies badly, or the formula's bad, or anything like that. I just didn't need this polish. You can see in the second coat, we have definitely reached opacity. The base is so dark, and I'm having trouble concocting a scenario in my head that would require a third coat. Again, if you paint so thin, and you wear clear extensions, maybe? But I'm really stretching for this. And I do think this is a polish that is meant to be worn at opacity. I think the other thing that needs to be taken into account for this polish is the time of year I swatched it. There was very little sunlight to be had. The only sunlight I could find I did actually use for my footage, and that was the extent of the sunlight. If I had sunlight, you also saw the sunlight. That's how little there was. It's still a problem. I'm trying to get my Easter stuff done right now, and there's no fucking sun. All that just to say, perhaps I'd have a different feeling about this polish if I had seen it in brighter light, more consistent brighter light. And here we are going to get to the true litmus test, the bright sunlight. I think you can just barely tell that it's blue. The shimmer starts out as that berry red, and as I move over to the window, it moves to a peach, then a marigold, and chartreuse. I never saw a distinct orange for this one. The shimmer ends at a lime green at the farthest point on the left. And repeat after me. This would look better with glitter than hollow flakes. I know, this is a bugbear of mine. This is super easy to remove, and even though it's quite a dark color, it did not even stain my skin. I did buy a water-based top coat to experiment with. I think very pigmented colors like this will bleed into a quick-dry top coat and obscure the components. So I would like to do an experiment with that water-based top coat and polishes I have like this one that I think are bleeding. If you haven't watched Fall of the House of Usher, I would recommend it. Mary McDonnell alone is worth it. It is a horror show, so do be prepared for some gross scenes. I don't think you need to know anything about Edgar Allan Poe or his writing to be entertained by the show. It just helps with the symbolism and the Easter eggs. For the sun and shade shots, the shimmer starts out as that red near the window. It doesn't really get a chance to shift before we get to the shade. You can see in certain very specific portions of the room that the base looks blue, but in the shade it is indistinguishable from black. I know it's blue and I can't tell. The holo flakes look silver in the shade because they don't have access to the sunlight that would let them be rainbows. I think in terms of birds, this reminds me of a Steller's jay. It has a bluish teal to black gradient in its feathers. I think this is the closest I've ever gotten to the feel of an entire bird in a single polish. In the darker areas, the polish looks black, and in bright light, you get hints of midnight blue, and that is very close to the gradient of this bird's feathers. The darkest plumage that can be found on these birds is seen in British Columbia, and that just seems entirely appropriate to me. Goth Canadian jays. For the final shot, we start out seeing that green and gold shift. As I move to the left, it becomes peach and then hits that berry red when I'm fully in the incandescent light. Again, in this shot, there are times when the base does look blue. I think most obviously when facing the window, but there are flashes of blue in the darker parts. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so that I can build my red squirrel a slingshot to allow her to eject her competitors in the only way appropriate to her territoriality. Please enjoy a very long clip of the mourning doves preening.